Hey everyone, thank you for coming to my presentation. I'm going to tell you a story about 3 little pigs and 1 very big bad wolf. Well, once upon a time, there was an old sow who had 3 little pigs, but she hadn't enough money to keep them, so she sent them on their way to make their own fortune. Well, the first little pig, as he was walking down the road, he ran into a man who had a barrel full of straw, and he said to the man, "Excuse me, man, may I have that barrel full of straw to build me a house?" And the man said yes. So the little pig took the straw and he built a nice little house. Well, along came a big bad wolf, and he knocked on the little pig's door and he said, little pig, let me in." And the little pig, shivering, said, "No, no, no, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." So the wolf said, "Well, I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." And that's what the wolf did. He huffed and he puffed and he blew that pig's house in. And he took him and he gobbled that little pig up. Well, the second little pig was walking down the road and he ran into the man with a cart full of sticks. And he said to the man, "Excuse me, sir, may I have those sticks to build a house?" And the man said, "Sure, you may have the sticks to build a house." So the little pig took the sticks and he built a nice little house made of sticks. Well, who do you think came along? It was that big bad wolf. The wolf knocked on the pig's door and he said, little pig, let me in." And the little pig said, "Oh, no, 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 not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." And the wolf said, "Well, I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." And that's what the wolf did. He huffed and he puffed and he huffed and he puffed and he blew that pig's house in. And he took the second little pig and he ate him up. Well, the third little pig, he met a man with a cart full of bricks. And he said to the man, "Excuse me, sir, may I have those bricks to build me a house?" And the man said, "Sure, you can have these bricks." And the little pig took the bricks and he made a big, nice, strong house. Well, who do you think came along? It was that big bad wolf. And the big bad wolf knocked on the pig's door and he said, little pig, let me in." And the little pig said, "No, no, no, not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." And the wolf said, "Well, I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house in." And that's what he did. He huffed and he puffed and he blew and he huffed and he puffed and he blew, but he couldn't blow the house in. Well, this made the wolf very angry, so he took a bigger breath and he huffed and he puffed and he blew so hard till his face was red, but he still couldn't blow the house in. Well, this made him very angry, but he thought to himself, if I can't blow the house down, how do I get to that pig? So he said, little pig, I know where some turnips are. Would you like to come with me to get them?" And the little pig said, "Sure, when will you come to get me?" And the wolf said, "I'll come to your house tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock. And the little pig said, "Okay, I'll see you at 6. Well, the next morning, the little pig got up at 5 o'clock and he grabbed a basket and he ran to the field of turnips and he got as many turnips as he could and he ran all the way back home before the wolf got there. Well, at 6 o'clock, the wolf came and he said, "Little pig, are you ready?" And the pig said, "Am I ready? I've already been to the turnip field and back, and I have a nice pot full of turnips for my dinner." Oh, this made the wolf so mad. He thought to himself, how am I going to get this pig? And then he said, little pig, I know where there's a nice big tree of apples. Would you like to come with me to get them? And the little pig thought, okay, sure. When will you come get me? And the wolf thought really hard and he said, I'll come to your house at 5 o'clock. And the pig said, okay, I'll see you at 5. Well, the next morning, the little pig got up bright and early at 4 o'clock. and he ran to the tree of apples, and he climbed up the tree, and he was putting apples in his basket, and who do you think he saw down at the field coming to get him? It was the wolf. The little pig thought, oh no, what am I going to do? As the wolf got closer, the wolf said, little pig, what are you doing here? Are those apples delicious? And the pig said, oh yes, wolf, they're very delicious. Would you like to have one? And the wolf said, yes, I would. And the pig said, okay, I'll throw one down to you. So the pig took an apple and he threw it as far as he could. And the wolf went running after it. Well, the little pig scrambled down the tree before the wolf could come back and get him. And he ran all the way home. Well, later on that day, the wolf came to the pig's house and he was very angry by this time. And he said, little pig, you fooled me, but that's okay. There's a fair tomorrow. Would you like to come with me? We'll have lots of fun. And the little pig said, okay. What time will you come and get me? And the wolf said, I'll come get you at 3 o'clock. And the pig said, okay, I'll see you at 3. Well, at 2 o'clock, the pig got up and he went to the fair and he had a good time and he bought a big butter churn to make butter. Well, just as he was walking home with his butter churn, he saw the wolf coming his way. He got very frightened, and though he could tell the wolf was very angry, so he jumped in his butter churn and he rolled down the hill. Well, he was rolling so fast that it scared the wolf. The wolf didn't know what it was, and the wolf ran off in a fright. The pig laughed, ha ha ha, and he went home with his butter churn. Well, later on that day, the wolf came and he said, little pig, you frightened me. What was that thing rolling down the hill? And the pig said, ha, I frightened you? Well, good. And the wolf was so angry about this. He said, little pig, I am going to climb up on your roof and I'm going to come down the chimney and I'm going to eat you. And the little pig listened very carefully and he heard the wolf climbing up on the roof. And he heard the wolf go up on the chimney. This time the pig scrambled and he took a big pot of water and he built a blazing fire. And just as he finished boiling the pot of water, here came the wolf coming down the chimney, and the pig pulled the lid off the pot and splash! The wolf went right in there and the pig threw the cover on and he boiled that wolf up nice and juicy and he ate him for supper. And that little pig lived happily ever after. Thank you. Hi everyone. I'm going to tell you a story about the red hen. One glorious morning, the little red hen found a recipe for a cake. She thought to herself, this will be a treat for all of us, and this cake should be made. Who will help me gather the ingredients for the cake? She looked at her friend the cat, and the cat said, meow, 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 not I. Well, she looked at her friend the rat, and he said, not I. She looked at her friend the frog, and he said, ribbit. Very well then, said the red hen, I'll gather the ingredients. And that's what she did. She gathered some sugar, some flour, and some milk. She said to her friends, okay everyone, I've gathered the ingredients for the cake. Who will help me mix the ingredients? She looked at her friend the cat, and the cat said, meow, 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 not I. She looked at her friend the rat, and the rat said, not I. She looked at her friend the frog, and he said, ribbit. Very well then, said the red hen, I'll mix the ingredients. And that's what she did. She got a big bowl, she poured in the flour, she poured in the sugar, and she poured in the milk. She mixed all the ingredients. She looked at her friends and she said, okay everyone, the ingredients are mixed. Who will help me take the mix and pour it in the pan and bake a cake. She looked at her friend, the cat, and the cat said, meow, 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 not I. She looked at her friend, the rat, and the rat said, not I. She looked at her friend, the frog, and he said, ribbit. Very well then, said the red hen. I'll take the ingredients and pour them in the pan, put the mix in the oven, and bake the cake. And that's what she did. Well, a little while later, the cake was ready. She took it out of the oven, and it smelled wonderful, and it was a golden brown. And she looked at her friends, and she said, okay, everyone, the cake is ready to be frosted. Who's going to help me frost the cake? She looked at her friend, the cat, and the cat said, meow, 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 not I. The red hen looked at her friend, the rat, and the rat said, not I. She looked at her friend, the frog, and he said, ribbit. Very well then, said the red hen. I'll take the cake and I'll put some frosting on it. And that's what she did. She frosted the cake all glorious colors. Beautiful pink and red and blue and green, and it looked splendid. And she said, okay, everyone, I frosted the cake. Who will help me decorate the cake? Well, she pretty well knew what was coming by this time. But she looked at her friend the cat, and the cat said, meow, 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 not I. And she looked at her friend the rat, and he said, not I. She looked at her friend the frog, and he said, ribbit. Oh, very well then, said the red hen. I'll decorate the cake. And that's what she did. She put sprinkles on the cake, she put gumdrops on the cake, she put delicious jelly beans on the cake. She made it look splendid. And she stepped back and she said, this looks delicious. Who will help me eat the cake? She looked at her friend, the cat, and the cat said, meow, 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 I will, I will, I will. She looked at her friend, the rat, and he said, oh yes, I will, I will, I will. And she looked at her friend, the frog, and he said, ribbit, ribbit. Oh, very well, said the red hen. I think I'm going to eat the cake myself, because no one helped me gather the ingredients. None of you helped me mix the ingredients. None of you helped me bake the cake. None of you surely helped me frost the cake. And none of you helped me decorate the cake. So I'll eat the cake all by myself. And she did.